Hey fellow YouTubers, this is Lawls here, and I'm bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. Last time I did the, I was about to say Cyber Dragon, the Thunder Dragon deck profile, which incorporated a Sky Striker engine, and that's kind of what got me into wanting to run just a almost pure Sky Striker deck. You can see we've got our a couple of kaijus here. If you want to skip into the video to see replays, if you're more interested in that thing, go to the time, which is on the screen now. But if you want to listen to me explain why I chose these cards and how they work together, then don't skip ahead. So I'm going to quickly get Gamisio out the way here. I haven't seen anyone who runs a Sky Striker deck run any kaijus, but they've just come in so handy in so many different situations for me. I used to run like the whole kaiju engine with Interrupted Kaiju Slumber and a couple of Jizukurus. I just found it wasn't as necessary, it was getting a little bit bloated with that. So you can run these if you want. I like to run them, but you can always swap them out for maybe like more infinite impermanent. This one, Cyber Dragon card. Sky Striker Ace Rai, staple card of the Sky Striker deck. A really good effect for getting some of these ladies out. Phantom Sky Blaster. I absolutely love this card. This card has won me so many battles. You summon it, you can special summon tokens up to the amount of monsters you have on the field. So if you have one Link monster in the extra monster zone and two monsters or even two tokens, you can just one token or monster, yeah, and then you summon Phantom Sky Blaster, flood the field completely, pretty much an OTK every single time. I am running a diverse engine of hand traps here. Basically run whatever you like. I really like having the option to have all of these without having to side into any of them. Vectored Blast, this is an OCG exclusive card, I believe, right now, so you won't be able to run this if you aren't running it in your GoPro. But this effect is incredible. Each player sends the top two cards from their deck to the graveyard. Then if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can shuffle all your opponent's monsters in the extra monster zones into the deck, which is insane. There's a duel where I had 1,000 life points left, and my friend who I was dueling against, he got a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon out, which does 500 damage each time you use an effect, and I happen to have Vector Blast in my deck. So I just threw it down, got rid of it straight away, and I won the duel. So incredible card. Foolish Burial Goods. I used to run 2 of this card, and if I could find room for it, I probably still would, because it is incredible. Especially in this deck, when all the Sky Striker cards, you need 3 or more spells in your graveyard to be able to use the good effects. For most of them, anyway. Terraforming, really good card in this deck. Just lets you get your field spell and adds another spell to the graveyard. That's what you're going to be doing with the majority of these spells. You just want to be getting them in the graveyard so you can activate all the incredible effects the Sky Striker cards give you. Foolish Burial, you use that to get Sky Striker Ace Rai into the graveyard. So if one of your Sky Striker monsters gets destroyed, you can just special summon her to the field, and then if they try to target her for an attack, you can activate her effect during the battle phase to summon, tribute her and summon one of these Sky Striker cards, so you can use her to get Kagari out. So before Kagari dies, you can get a Sky Striker card from your graveyard to your hand. Really useful combo there. Maneuver Afterburners, very nice card. Target one face-up monster on the field, destroy it, then you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. So basically, when you're running this, you don't need to run any MST, no Twin Twisters or anything, since most of the time you're going to have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, so if you need to get rid of a spell card, you can use this, and that's partially the reason why I got rid of put Jamming Waves in my side deck, though I'm still a little bit indecisive of whether or not I want to main deck that card or not. Called by the Grave is a card I've only just started running recently, and the main reason I've started running it is because of this little bugger. Token Collector. my friends have just found out about this card, and it is not a nice card. Basically just stops you from being able to summon your tokens, which is basically the main thing you're going to be trying to do with this deck. So Called by the Grave, if it's in the graveyard, because it has a graveyard effect, which is you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Neither player can special summon tokens. So if it's in their graveyard, you use Called by the Grave, banish it, which is good on its own, but then it also negates all the effects of monsters with the same name. So if your opponent has one in their hand, it's now negated and they can't use it against you. There's obviously a whole bunch of other cards. You can use it to negate hand traps, which is really handy as it's a quick play spell. Mecha Shark Cannon, really nice card. If you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, well, first you banish an opponent's monster from the graveyard, then you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can special summon it to your side of the field. And it has some benefits over Widow Anchor. The benefit, which is the not benefit, the benefit is you can't attack with it, but its effects aren't negated, which is really good. So if your opponent had a monster that had a really good effect that you can make use of, this card will help you with that. If you just want to take one of your opponent's monsters and use it as material for, you know, a link summon, good for that as well. I think everyone knows what Hornet Drones does. If you control no monsters, you special summon a token. Really dirt card, really good card. You have to run 3 of them. I know a lot of people say these days, if you manage to activate Scapegoat, you've pretty much won the duel. And I have to agree with them. Use Scapegoat, you can instantly get Boral Sword Dragon out. Or Boral Load if you want to run him instead of Boral Sword, but I run Boral Sword. The way you want to use this, if you somehow don't already know, is you play it face down and you activate it during your opponent's turn, preferably during their end phase, so they can't destroy, well, can't attack your tokens. Mecha Widow Anchor, beautiful card. You run 3 of these, lets you negate an opponent's monster, then you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard. You can take control of it until the end phase. So again, you'll probably be using that either to attack if you really wanted to, but I usually use it for material for a link summon. Mecha Modules Multi-Roll, really nice card. It's a continuous spell card and it lets you retrieve Sky Striker cards from your graveyard, depending on the amount of Sky Striker cards you used in that given turn. The only downside is they get banished afterwards, which is a bit of a pain, but you shouldn't have too many issues with that bad side effect of the card, because you're probably going to be winning the duels, if you are going to be winning them, pretty quickly with this deck. Area 0 is really, really handy. It's helped me in a lot of tough situations. If you're in need of a specific Sky Striker card, and let's say you have you only have a Terraforming in your hand, and you got Area 0 on the field, you could just set this card and target it with this. You then excavate top 3 cards of your deck, and if you have a Sky Striker card in those 3 cards, which you most likely will, you can tribute the card that you targeted with it, so Terraforming, and add that card to your hand, which is incredible, especially if you can get Mobilize Engage with it. Infinite Impermanence, Permanence, I think that's how you pronounce it. Really nice card. I know a few people don't run it, and then the people who do run it, I think they typically run 3 or something, but I don't want to be running too many trap cards in this. We're already running 5 hand traps. This could come in really handy in sticky situations. Now on to the extra deck, but I'm just going to call it the Link deck because it is just comprised entirely of Link monsters. So again, we have the staples here, Link Rebo and Link Spiders. Just use them to get rid of tokens so you can summon those bigger Link monsters. If I had the space, I would probably run 2 of Shizuku as well, but I'm only running 1 of her, 2 Kagari and 2 Hayate. You could always swap out Trigate Wizard for maybe another Shizuku or Kagari, but I really love running Trigate Wizard. He's such a good card. All these cards are really good. Shizuku, during your end phase, you can add 1 Sky Striker spell card from your deck to your hand, which has a different name from the cards in your graveyard. Kagari lets you target a Sky Striker spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. And Hayate lets you attack directly, and also you can send 1 Sky Striker card from your deck to your graveyard, which is a really handy effect. Police Patrol of the Underworld, it's just a stepping stone for getting to Borrowed Sword. It's basically all it is. I am running a very nice selection of Nightmare cards. I absolutely love the Nightmare cards. They are so broken, and you can, if you can set them up correctly, you can do an extra link with them, which is really nice, and also just provides all your co-link cards with really strong protection. Trigate Wizard, I'd imagine anyone watching this deck profile probably wouldn't run Trigate Wizard. He's not the best card, but I do have a soft spot for him, so I do incorporate him in more decks than I probably should. And Borrowed Sword Dragon, incredible card, probably best card in the deck. Very good, very broken. You have to run him, or at least borrow load. I guess it's a personal preference on that. Again, with my side deck, I haven't put an incredible amount of thought in it. I've just got all my extra hand traps here, so if I am going against someone who, I say they're not using many graveyard effects or something, I could just swap out Ghost Bella for maybe another Ghost Ogre or Ash Blossom, and vice versa. I got loads of different hand traps here for different combinations. Jamming Waves if I find I need it in a certain duel. Reinforcement of the Army I used to run in my main deck, but I took it out, I think, in favor of maybe Infinite Permanence. Another Foolish Burial Goods. Again, if I can find room for it, I'll definitely add that back into my main deck. Another Called by the Grave. One card I just can't bring myself to add to the deck. Though its effect does sound really good, I just have not found a situation where I've been like, oh, I wish I was maining that Eagle Booster. Twin Twisters. Again, against certain types of decks that definitely worth siding out for. And just a couple more Infinite Permanence. Now we've looked at the deck profile in depth, I'm going to show you a couple of replays of, let's get rid of Token Collector, of me using this deck. The first one I'm going to show you is where I managed to pull off an extra link. It's the first time I pulled it off, so I was just really excited about it. I didn't need to do it, but I saw an opportunity and I took it. So I'm going against my friend Ryan here, who's running his Red Eyes deck, and I did not get off to a good start during this duel, as you'll see. He managed to get around my Shark Cannon. I was just trying to banish his card so he couldn't summon it, but he had 2 Red Eyes Spirit. I also Kaiju this monster because I knew he was probably going to try to do an XYZ and screw me over somehow. I think what happened there was I was trying to get that Shark Cannon into my graveyard, but I'd forgot about this banishing effect, so it did screw me over a bit there, since I only have 2 spells in my graveyard, so that's something you really need, especially during the first couple of turns. Keep that in mind. Better than I did. Now what I did there, I just used Area Zero's effect. As Widow Anchor is such a good card, but I really needed something that would try to get me out of this situation. And I did manage to get a Vector Blast there, which I just used to get some more cards into my graveyard. So now I do have 5 spells in my graveyard here, and I have a Scapegoat set down, which unfortunately I had to activate during the battle phase so I didn't die. Actually, I think this is the duel I was talking about earlier when my mate, he got Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon out. You had 1,000 life points left, there we go, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. And luckily I had a Vector Blast, which is used to get rid of that. Get a Widow Anchor back using Area Zero, and then using Mecha Modules multi-roll, we got another Widow Anchor. So we can get his card, and then we get the Widow Anchor back. Use Kagari to get yet another Widow Anchor. What I did here is because Return of the Red Eyes needs a Red Eyes on the field to be able to special summon that card. I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought maybe I could take control of both his cards and then maybe it wouldn't work, but I really should have just waited until I got the other Widow Anchor to just take all his cards. I was lucky there to get a Sky Strike and Mobilize Engage. I think I activated that early there just because I was getting annoyed with it. Didn't want to act. Ugh. I didn't want to keep clicking no on the prompts that kept coming up. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm going to start to get my Nightmare Engine out now. Luckily, I discarded a card and I got Phantom Sky Blaster, which just enabled me to do the extra link. And there we go. Victory was mine. So here's a replay of me going against my friend Harry. He's running his Kaiju deck here. So quite an interesting deck actually. I'm surprised he managed to make it work as well as he has. My first turn, I didn't. There's not really much I could do. I didn't want to waste any of these cards. So you can definitely see, maybe I'm running too many hand traps here. We are wrecking a little bit here, and also we're running the Kaiju here. But I just kept getting more and more hand traps. Like, oh great, thank you. Just give me all the hand traps at once. Luckily, since I knew my friend was running his Kaiju deck, I knew there wasn't much he could do until I got a monster on the field. Just use that combo, Hayate to get a Mobilize Engage into my graveyard, and then a Kagari. Now I didn't activate Hornet Drones there straight away, because I was pretty sure that he would have had Token Collector in his hand. Well, it's something you just have to assume, especially when you know your opponent's running Token Collector. Just always assume your opponent has Token Collector. Use Kagari again to get Mobilized Engage back into my hand. During your turn, if you have this in your hand, you always want to activate it first, so you can just, during the end phase, get as many Sky Striker cards back to the field as you possibly can, or want. He's activating a Chizukuru there to try to negate my effects, but I had too many cards in my sleeve, my theoretical sleeve that is my hand. Now he's using Token Collector. There's a lot of chaining going on. And I used his Gameciel there just to negate his Token Collector. And that won me the duel. I've only got really these couple of replays for this deck. I haven't been running it for as long as I've been running the Thunder Dragon deck, but it's a really fun deck to run. Hopefully I've been able to provide a good base here for you to start building your own Sky Striker deck. If you liked the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. I will see you guys later.